So you're thinking of living in New Jersey, or perhaps you already live here and you're just looking to move in general? If you want to know why right now is a good time to buy, stick around because we're going to explain it to you right after this. If this is your first time to the Living in New Jersey channel, please feel free to click the subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first one to be alerted to the ever-changing and sometimes complex New Jersey real estate market, and of course, awesome videos like this one. My name is Matthew Williamson. I'm a luxury realtor here in New Jersey, and the team and I on the daily get phone calls, emails, no to the faxes, folks. We will have law and order, no to the faxes, sound the alarm. If you watch enough of my videos, you'll know how I feel about the faxes. But in all seriousness, we get communication on the daily from people just like you. You're like, who am I?
You're a home shopper. You're not a homeowner yet.
But we get emails and calls to be turned into people like this around me. What you see there are amazing reviews and very, very happy clients that are now homeowners, and we got them off of the dating site for homes. You know, swipe left, swipe right, heart the house, heart me back. What? That is no way to live, people. It's not.
No.
There's no way to live.
Nope.
So we got them off of that site. And today, I have an expert with me. An expert in the world of lending. Now, I know the statement of right now is a great time to buy probably sounds like a used car sales guy from 1972. Buy your home right now. Probably a cheesy infomercial. There's no cheese here. No cheese. But the expert beside me is legitimately going to explain to you why, truthfully, at the start of 2023 is a great time to buy. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian DeVito. I'm a Senior Vice President of Mortgage Lending with Guaranteed Rate. And just want to thank Matt for bringing me on the Living in New Jersey page again.
Excellent! Excellent. So once again, if you're working with a realtor out there, and it's not me, shame on you, but I digress. If you're working with a realtor and you're just hearing it, it's a great time to buy, it's a great time to buy, it's a great, da, 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 da. And I'm sure you're just like, sure it is, yeah, I'm sure it is, it's a great, I see on TV, I watch the news, I watch all this stuff.
We're in a recession, the U.S. is crumbling!
Please, that is all clickbait, that is panic alert news. We are going to set the record straight, and we are going to tell you the legitimate reasons why it is the right time to buy. Go ahead, Brian. Inform us.
So, if somebody has their home listed for sale right now, they're serious. You know, they need to sell. It's not that they want to sell. The other thing that buyers have to take into consideration too is, let's say I'm a married person and I have kids that are 8 and 10 years old. Let's say I live in Westfield, for instance. I'm not going to move right now unless maybe going through a divorce or I'm getting relocated for work. Typically, families that have children that are in school, typically they're going to look to move over the summer. You know, maybe they start shopping, you know, May, June, so that they can close in August. They enroll their kids in the school district. They don't have to change them from, you know, Westfield to Scotch Plains. So
nice towns you're using in your example.
Yeah, but you know why that matters to a home buyer? There's less competition. Remember the days over the last 2 years when you'd go to an open house and you'd see a line of about 100 people, you know, in line. Everybody made an offer. Everybody's offer went above list price. Buyers were, you know, waiving appraisal, waiving inspection. You're not going to see that now because there's not a lot of competition. The other thing that buyers have to take into consideration too is, unfortunately, 2022 was a terrible year for interest rates. They pretty much doubled from the start of 2022 to where we are today. So there's a lot of people that said, you know what? I'm going to wait for rates to come down. Nobody has a crystal ball and can predict what's going to happen and when rates drop.
So
however,
what you're saying is no one's psychic.
No one's psychic. If we were psychic, Matt and I would be picking the winning Powerball numbers and would be on some, you know, beach right now having a pina colada, working on our tan. But, you know.
That's highly descriptive, Brian.
Nobody's psychic.
But,
you know, I do think that rates will drop, you know, based upon what the market has done over the last year. You know, and being in this business for 17 years, interest rates will drop. So a lot of you may have heard the saying, marry the house, date the rate. So,
yes,
you know, if I were to buy a home, let's say, you know, next month, say my interest rate's in the mid 6s. You know, at that point, the home's mine. Say we fast forward time another 7 months and interest rates drop to 5%. There's nothing that would prevent me from refinancing my mortgage, reducing my interest rate, which is then in turn going to reduce my payment, So, at that point, the house is yours. But if someone were to say, oh, you know what, I'm going to wait for rates to come down. Say they drop in June. What's going to happen? All those people that waited for rates to come down, they're going to jump back in the market. Then I think we go back to where you're going to see long lines at the open houses. The pendulum's probably going to, swing more towards the seller, where the buyer's going to have to waive the appraisal, waive the inspection. We're not seeing a lot of these things in contracts right now because there's not a lot of competition.
Wonderfully explained example, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Something that comes to mind, and I think I mentioned this once, and it's not probably the most per se, polished example, but nonetheless, dating the rate and marrying the house, and someone saying, okay, well, my payment's going to be higher. If I take the home I want, that's the house I really want, but at the rate, I might pay another, let's say, $500, for example, a month, almost $500. So, I kind of look at it as, well, it's I got the home I wanted without a bidding more finder's fee. Meaning, maybe rates, as you said, no one's psychic. No one knows when they're going to go from, 7 back down to 4 or 3. No one knows.
Right.
But, rates do tend to go down. They go up. It's just kind of the cause and effect of things, of the economy and all of that. But if you find that home that you love, and you're like, you know what, that's the house I'm gonna buy. I love that home. I don't want somebody else to have it. I don't want to get the bidding war, all of that. I'll go ahead and finance the higher rate, have a payment that, in this example, $500 more than what it would have been. And then in a year, so a whole year will pass in this example before rates drop back down to where you wanted them to be. And then you refinance,
correct,
right, to shave that extra $500 off. So really, over the course of that year, you paid an extra $6,000.
You have, and you've also had the tax benefits that come along with having a mortgage.
Okay, excellent. And the way I look at that is, you're right. You paid the extra $500, right? In the slang term in a lot of movies, you paid the vig, right? You paid the juice. For that year, you paid an extra $6,000. But what's the trade-off? That at the beginning of that example, rates were already lower, and then you end up paying $50,000 over ask. So when you look at it, you really have to look objectively. It can't just be, it's a high rate, peace out, I don't want a house. Sometimes you want to buy the house, take the high rate, pay the VIG. So as you said, you're not in a line of 100 people at that open house and then having to pay 40, 50, $100,000 over because
waiving inspection, appraisal.
Crazy stuff. Waiving a home inspection, waiving by the way, that's nuts. Nuts. You paid the extra $6,000. I mean, between all of that, I'd pay the VIG. You know what I mean? For me, I'd pay the extra 6 G's and then refinance versus you just paid $45,000 over asking price. And you waive the appraisal, and you waive the inspections. Like, what? That's gross.
And we do have something at Guaranteed Rate that can help with where rates are today. It's a buy-down program where you can take a lower interest rate for either the first 1, 2, or 3 years of your loan term. So maybe you do something like that, while we wait for interest rates to come down. The best thing, the buyer can't pay for it. It's something that the seller has to pay for. And before, we talked about less competition. The chances of maybe putting that in a contract right now, asking the seller to pay for it, chances are a lot higher now than they would be, say, in like a June where, there's 100 people in line at an open house. So
buy down, and that could be, I mean, honestly, we could talk about that on a whole video. Like,
yeah, that's a whole nother video.
But like just the kind of meat and potatoes as well is a buy down is, just so I understand as well, and the people watching like really understand, a very, I guess, simplified version of it is it a way to get a lower rate?
It is. So basically, again, you have the option to do either a 1, 2, or a 3-year buy down. So if you did a 1-year buy down, let's just say, for instance, the current interest rate is 6.5% today. If you did the 1-year buy down, the interest rate would be 5.5% for that first 12 months. So it gives the buyer a cheaper payment, again, paid for by the seller. But we can do that, while we wait for rates to come down and hopefully drop in the next 12 months. Then you just refinance out of that loan into a newer loan with the lower rate and a cheaper payment.
Oh, well, excellent. Well, we'll definitely do a video on the buy down, right? Yep. And just to be clear, it is separate from like people saying, oh, paying a point.
Yeah, this is totally different.
So just so there's no confusion, separate stuff, and we got separate videos on that. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Brian?
Now's a great time to buy a home. If you're, thinking of buying a home in 2023, I'd start now. I wouldn't wait till the summer because I think, now's the time.
Excellent. Well, once again, we hope you had fun. We hope you found this entertaining and got value out of this. Please feel free to click the subscribe button. That's a tongue twister. Please feel free to click the subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first one to be alerted to amazing videos like this. Down below will be our information. So everything you need, contact information for me or the team or Brian, everything will be down below. Once again, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.